Okie dokie. So right now it's just the four of us here. Here's what I would like to do. The assignment I made for you guys yesterday. This is just a blank one. Don't worry. It's not anybody in particular. It's just mine. I tried my best to make it make sense, and I realize it doesn't always make sense. And I'm sorry about that. It wasn't on purpose. So, really quick, I just want to run through with you what it was I was expecting and hoping to get out of each of you, and then I would like to revisit them. So, each of you with me today did start or finish or do a bunch of at least some of your worksheet from yesterday. I did notice a lot of great work, but there's still some room for clarity on some of these translations. Hey, Savannah. So let's go through this really quick together. And then if you need clarification or have a question while I'm doing it, please jump in and tell me. I want to work it out with the 4 or 5 of you right now. Hi. And then I think I'm going to stop us at like 11:30 or 11:35 so we can talk about the transformations cuz so far we've only done the translations. And that's okay. I want to take our time till you guys are ready to go for the next part. So, if you go back into your Jamboard, you do have the ability to like still draw on it and erase as well. Not a big deal. But I want to give you guys a chance to, after we talk about it now together and kind of review again, revisit some of your questions. So for most of you that I checked everybody. And I think for all of you here with me now, you all had a lot that was on point, but then I also saw a little bit of area for maybe misunderstanding or at very least just an accident. So I appreciate you guys writing your names. Here's mine. Woohoo! Josiah's. Okay, the first page, there wasn't really meant to be any work done. It's just like a resource. So these are the parent graphs for the ones we've been working with. First, we've got the straight line, the linear function, just f of x is equal to x. Excuse me, straight line. And then we've got our quadratic, the bowl shape, that's x squared. And then last up, we've got our x to the third, that's called a cubic. I just wanted you guys to be comfortable with seeing those shapes. And I think you all are at this point because we've been doing them the last couple of days. Okay, next page was just another resource with some examples. We've been talking about this, and you're all doing really great. You did a really great with your answers yesterday. If the rule is inside the parentheses, and here's what I mean by inside, like look in the second yellow box. The +3 is inside those parentheses, right? That's what I'm looking for inside. Then that tells us we're doing horizontal movement of the graph and this is important, opposite of what it looks like. So for this example, f of x plus 3, we know there's a 3, right? Because it's +3. If it's in the parentheses, that tells us we're going to take our parent graph. That's the red one here. And it's going to move 3 units somewhere, right? Our question is what direction does the parent graph move? 3 units, up, down, left, or right. It's inside the parentheses, so it's horizontal. So we know for sure it's going to be left or right, 3 units. Because it's horizontal and because it's in the parentheses, the last part is opposite. So +3, we actually move it 3 left, not 3 plus like you would want to, like I would want to. We go opposite for horizontal rules. So the blue one here went 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. And that's why we see that blue dashed line 3 units to the left of our red parent graph. In the green stuff next door, if the rule is outside, meaning the +3, and I'm sorry about that, that was not meant to be broken up, f of x plus 3. So this time the +3 is not in the parentheses, right? It's outside. Well, then you know it's a vertical move up or down, And we translate how it looks like, meaning we do +3, not opposite or backwards. So looking at the picture below, we've got our parent graph, the starting position, parent, and then we go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we see our translated blue parabola or quadratic above it. So no work to do on this page. It's merely another reference to fall back on. Now, then we get into the nitty gritty. It's a multiple choice. So we're merely looking at our options and picking. So let's talk through some of these together since we're doing it as a group now. When we're done doing some review, I want you guys to go back into your Jamboard and check your work, check your answers. You can always erase using this little eraser right here. I know it's kind of a pain. Let's see. I guess we can't make the eraser bigger. Can we zoom in? I guess you can kind of zoom in your board a little bit, and that might help it. Maybe make it easier to erase. Maybe not. Okay, did I get everyone in here who's trying to get in? Yes. Hey, Anthony. Good morning. Glad you're back. Okay, so for example, guys, let's look at this problem together. Suppose f of x is equal to x squared. This first sentence only exists to tell us we're dealing with our quadratic shape. And that's why both pictures below have the same quadratic shape, that bowl shape. Find the graph of f of x minus 2. This is the rule. This is the translation we're looking to do the change with. So remember, the parent graph of the quadratic x squared lives right at the origin. And then from there, we're going to move it, up, down, left, or right. So if we look at our choices, the first box, the first graph, choice A, choice B. Choice A, you can see the vertex. This one went up from the origin, up to. Choice B, the one on the right, it went to the right 2 units. Here's our origin. Here's the vertex of the translated parabola. So if our rule is f of x minus 2, that's the one they gave us, right, for this page. Go ahead and, if you don't mind, answer in the chat. Do we want to move, does this mean move up or move to the right? Sorry, that's a little wobbly. Move up 2 units, or is it move right 2 units? Any ideas? What is your first thought? Remember, we can go back to our reference pages, these guys right here, and we're basically asking is it the yellow box or the green box? Is it the horizontal rules or the vertical rules? And I'm not looking yet at your chats. I'm going to in a sec. I appreciate you guys who have answered. I'm just going to ask the question out loud. Is the minus 2 that we see in the parentheses or out of the parentheses? That's really what I'm asking you. I know you guys can see that. Thank you, 3, for answering. Awesome. If it's inside the parentheses, that means we're doing left-right movement. Our translation is horizontal, meaning left-right movement. Good. And then you look at the actual number. It's 2, right? Negative 2. Well, if it's in the parentheses, we're doing opposite of what it looks like horizontally. So we move 2 to the right. So this one right here. So for your worksheets, you can circle it or you can pick it with an arrow and say, Josiah or Levi or Savannah or Anaya or Anthony, Victor, I picked this one, And signal to me by circling or by putting your name or your initials next to it, which one you're choosing. Folks, any questions right now? Please, anything at all about this problem or about the worksheet? Okay, let's look at the next page. So the next one after this. Okay, after this, I gave you guys three choices, not just two choices, but you're going to pick one. And I hope this is big enough. Sorry if it's not. Let me try to make it bigger. Okay, so suppose f of x is x to the third. Find the graph of f of x plus 1. So it's the same approach that we did on the last one. The first sentence is only telling us the shape we're using. This is the cubic shapes. That's why they all look like that. Is the rule you see, the plus 1, inside or outside? I know you see this. It's inside, right? Again, like last time. So if the plus 1 is inside, that means we're doing horizontal. Inside the parentheses. That's sorry, that's what I mean by inside. Inside the parentheses. And don't forget, that means opposite of what it looks like. So instead of plus 1 to the right, we would actually move 1 to the left, negative 1 direction. Go left, or negative, right? Negative direction. 1. And the starting point is always at 0, 0. So looking at these three graphs, this one, the middle of it, where usually it goes through 0, 0, this one went up 1. This one went right 1. Right here. See that? That's the part I'm looking at that went right 1. And then the last option went left 1. Right here in the negative 1 zone. So the translation rule above, the f of x plus 1, that's telling us everything we need to know. But our job is to be able to translate that, to read it and know what it means. So inside the parentheses means we're going to go left 1. Let me label these guys, A, B, and C. Go ahead and do your vote in the chat. So for this screen, are we doing A, B, or C? Did we go up 1, right 1, or left 1? Do your best. Take your best guess. It's okay if we don't all get it right or get the same answer. What would you think? I see 2 of you answered. Thank you, 2. But I would like to hear from all 6 of you. Cool. 3 of you. Thank you. 4 of you. High five. 5 of you. Oh, there's just 1 left. Take your best guess. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I just want you guys thinking about it. I want you practicing. That's the whole point of this this worksheet activity I made. Awesome. Thanks, Savannah, Levi, Anaya, Brooke. Nice. Good job, guys. For answering, for taking a shot at that, taking a guess, taking an informed guess. The reason it's not the middle graph, the reason it's not B, I'm glad to see that people were thinking, okay, they chose right 1 for horizontal, right? Correct? But the problem there is that we always do opposite rules for horizontal. So if it says plus 1, I know this is tough. If it says plus 1, we have to kind of make that opposite ourselves. So the real translation is negative 1 because it's given to us as plus 1. So I'm glad. So choosing B is a good choice because it is horizontal, but we have to go not plus 1. This is at plus 1. You're right. That's at positive 1, right? But we need to push our graph to the left, negative 1. And that's why for this option, it is C. Thank you to all of you who answered. Good job. Should we do one more together, or do you guys want to jump back into yours now? Any preferences? Should we do another one together? You ready to rock and roll and double check your work? I saw something for everybody. Even though a lot of you had a lot of it right, there was still something to go back and double check, whether it was an up-down issue or a left-right issue. Oh, here's what I think we should talk about. I'm going to go to this one, okay? Let's look at this together as a group. Okay, so the rule given here is suppose f of x is x squared. That just means we're dealing with the parabola shape. Find the graph of f of x minus 3. This time, check it out. The minus 3, the translation, is outside the parentheses. If it's outside the parentheses, that means we're doing vertical, up, down. And our last thing to remember is we don't do opposite for verticals. We do it at face value. And I think I saw a couple people still doing opposites for their vertical translations. So we do it the way it looks. We do -3. Now, this whole we do -3, what do we mean by that? It means starting from the middle, if we had our parent graphs, I'm going to draw in the parent graphs here. Remember, the parent graph goes through 0, 0. So look to where the x and y lines are crossing. That's 0, 0. And then we're looking to see the change in the blue version. So if I'm looking at my starting position, my parent graph in red, option A this time went 3 units to the right. Option B, middle, went 3 units up. The blue one went up to 0, 3, right? That's its y-intercept, not at 0, 0, 0, 3. So this went up 3. And then our last option, C, went down 3, or -3. Went -3. So our clues are looking at the like the formula above, the -3 is outside. So that means we're doing vertical. Excuse me. So that means we can eliminate number A, or option A, as an option. I'm going to cross this guy out. Why can I cross that out? Because this one was a horizontal. It went to the right there. We don't want that. So it has to be either B or C. When we're doing verticals, the rule is as it looks. We do it at face value, not the opposite. Someone's in the chat. Oops, sorry about that. So just like last time, remember, when we're doing verticals, we do it at face value. So option B is a good option because it is vertical, right? But the rule is -3, not plus. So the one we're looking at in B, this translation would be this, f of x plus 3, because it went up 3. So guys, the opposite only applies to the horizontal when it's in the parentheses. If it's outside, we do it at face value. I know it's a lot to remember. So option C is again the answer here. And why? Because it went down from the parent graph 3 to that spot. The blue one went down from the red one. F of x minus 3. And while we're at it, the equation for A would be f. It went to the right 3, correct? So remember, right and left moves, right and left translations are opposite of what they look like. So if this went plus 3, the rule we're going to put in is x minus 3. So here's the actual translations below at the bottom for each one of those. And that's why we're choosing C, because it went down 3. So it's f of x minus 3. Okay. Then when you get near the end, I've got one, two, three, four graphs for each of you in your, because yesterday I paired you guys up so that way you could kind of see each other's work, talk to each other, work together, see what the other person's thinking. So that's why there's doubles here. So I didn't mean for like one of you to do both. I just wanted one side to be for like student A. I'm not saying one of you is A and B, but first student and the other student in your pairing. So each of you just does one of these. Doesn't matter which one is which. So if we're supposed to draw f of x minus 3, I put the parent graphs included. So what we're looking at is already the like the starting original version. So talk to me here. For this rule that I gave us above, f of x minus 3, is this going to be up, down, left, or right? It's in the parentheses. In the parentheses means horizontal. So that should narrow down our options. Do we want to move this 3 units up, 3 units down, 3 units negative left, or 3 units right positive? Another way we could like set this up is like a flow chart. If that would be helpful. I don't know if that would make it more confusing or less confusing. These rules on the back at the beginning, this is what I'm using to tell if it's up, down, left, or right. So it's like we check, is the +3 or -3, is that in the parentheses or out of the parentheses? And that tells us basically if we're doing vertical or horizontal. And then the last part is it opposite for horizontal or is it face value for vertical? All right. Have I lost everybody? I put everyone to sleep. Is this going to be horizontal or vertical? A horizontal translation. I'm sorry if I'm not being very clear. Forgive me. Horizontal translation or a vertical? We have to pick. We know by looking for the plus or -3, is that inside or outside? Oh, my bad. Naya, I was hoping you would answer. Anaya, thank you so much. Correct. It's inside. That tells us it's horizontal. So I'm going to move my red one. That's the paragraph. Either it's going to go 3 units to the right or it's going to go 3 units to the left. How do we know which one it is? Any thoughts? Any ideas? 3 units to the right, this one, or 3 units to the left over here? Horizontal translations are always the opposite of what they look like. Horizontals, we do the opposite. Verticals, we do it at face value, how it looks. So the translation given to us is x minus 3, right? That's the formula above. That's the translation. So -3, the opposite of that, we're doing opposites because it's in the parentheses. Opposite of -3 would be +3. So here's the translation for it, the blue one I have up here. It's like taking the parent graph and moving it 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. Whole thing is shifted over. Okay. So, okay, I've talked too long. I'm not sure how you guys are doing on this. So, you all have access to your Jamboard still. Maybe you've already started. Maybe some of you have already gone back in. I haven't looked yet since this hour began. I'm going to put you guys in the breakout rooms again, and we're going to work for at least 10 minutes on this worksheet because yesterday, not everyone finished it, and there should be something for you to go back and check. And yesterday, I only got to like two groups. So, let me put you in your breakout rooms, same like groups as yesterday. If your partner's not here today, you'll be on your own. I don't want to mix you up because you guys have different sheets. So I'm going to come around and check in with everybody real quick, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. I'm going to put you in your same rooms. Okay, so first one was. Okay. And what I'd like you guys to do is in another tab, open up your Jamboard from yesterday. So you're going to go to Google, Google Drive, and then find your Jamboard. You can erase your work and you can write in new stuff. So you have the ability to do either. And Anthony, okay. And then last up was. Okay, sorry. So two of you guys are going to be on your own, but I'm going to come and check in with each of these groups I'm making right now, okay? And I want to try to do this for maybe 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back together and look at the transformation part of this. Here we go. Okay, go ahead and join your breakout room, and I'll be in there with you in a sec. Okay, good. So some of you joined. Brooke. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Brooke. Levi, are you there?
Oh, I can't hear you, Josiah.
You can't hear me? Oh no, what is happening?
Oh, hold on. It might be my internet connection.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, hang on. My microphone's not working. Hey, Levi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yay. Okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. When me and I think I was partnered with Tierra
Yes,
yesterday. When we were working on it, most of the answers that we were getting were the same to each other's.
for
And
sure.
when I was checking the work today, when you were going over the questions, we got a few wrong, but we got most of them right.
For sure. Yeah, and I was checking. I was glad to see you guys were doing it yesterday, and I presume doing it together. Um, let's look at Can we go to page? Do you have yours up yet?
Yeah,
Okay. Can we go to page 4?
yeah.
Okay. 4 out of 13.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. So you see it says x minus 2, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So remember, it's kind of like a well, I think the best way to think of this is like step one, inside or outside the parentheses. You see that
yeah,
the rule is inside, right?
yep,
Minus two is inside. So that means it's horizontal or vertical, Levi.
yeah. I think I might have gotten confused with the top of the top equation where it says
Ah,
f parentheses
for sure.
equals x to the second power. Um, but
I, It's all
I
good.
figured it.
It's all good. Um, so this one is it going to be up 2 units or should it be left or right 2 units?
It would be left or right.
Very good. And then the last thing I want to quiz you on is horizontals are the ones where we always do opposite. So basically, anytime it's inside the parentheses, we're always going to do the opposite of what it looks like. And then we have to remember it's horizontal. So we're doing left right, and instead of -2, which is what I naturally want to do, right? Because -2 is left 2. We have to do opposite, meaning we're going to go to the right +2.
Right.
Okay. Um, let's check out another one. Let's look at number 5. Okay, look at page 5 with me.
Okay.
Okay. So examine these ones again for me. And honestly, Levi, the top sentence, I didn't mean to make it confusing, but the reason it's there is because it's telling us which parent graph we're using. So focus on the second part of the equation, the f of x plus 1 part.
All right. So this one would be it would be the first graph.
First graph. Okay. Now,
The one where it's moving up.
so I tried to jam a lot into these boards. The downside, though, is the graphs are kind of tiny and small. I just zoomed it in more.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
See how let me draw on here with some red. So right here, where this cubic shape is like flat right in the middle, that's the part I'm tracking to see like if it went up or left or right or down. And the starting point is always right in the middle at 0, 0. Right here.
Yeah.
So this one went up. But remember, for up, that means the rule, the plus or minus number is outside the parentheses.
Oh, okay.
So this one, I'm going to label it real quick. This would be f of x plus 1 on the outside, like that.
All right. So this one is going to be moving to.
And then remember, horizontals are opposite of what it looks like. So instead of moving plus 1, we want to move -1.
It would move to the left.
Correct. Good.
So it would be the last graph.
Good job, Levi. Good. Can I do another one with you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's look at number 6. This one's a little tricky because it's the straight line. Now, when we're doing the straight line one, we're basically looking for where's the blue line crossing the x-axis. The parent graph would be right at 0, right in the middle. And then if we compare those middle red spots I tried to make to our blue line, you can see, is it like left or right of that? Is it up or down of that?
So this one's going to be to the left.
Good. Left. How much?
Left 1.
Good.
-1.
-1. So is that going to be graph 1, 2, or 3? A, B, or C?
I'm pretty sure it's number 2.
Good. Okay, very good, Levi. How are you feeling so far on these?
Pretty good.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, very good, Levi. Nice job. So on this page 7. Oh, I'm sorry. If I'm jumping around. On page 7, the one you guys chose for page 7 is correct. It's crossing at -3. So this one went down 3. And the rule for verticals is we do it how it looks. So it told us at the beginning, the original f of x down 3. So you guys got that one correct. Nice job. Any questions on page 7?
No, but I think the reason I was able to get this one is because I was also remembering how I was able to kind of keep track of the x in the parentheses, because if the x is in the parentheses on its own without the equation with it, then it's probably going to mean that the x is already plotted out. So all you need to do is figure out where the y point is going.
Yes, very good. And that -3 is basically saying it's the old y point, but pushed down 3.
All right.
And that's why The verticals are at face value. And then with horizontals, they get flipped. So it's always opposite for horizontals.
Okay.
Let's see. I see that you guys did. Do you feel comfortable now to try the last 3 pages here, page 10, 11, and 12? And try doing your own little sketch?
Yeah, I can do that.
Try that for me, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to move to someone else. And in a few minutes, I'm going to like do the end breakout rooms, and you should get a little notification or something to come back to the main room.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Savannah's here. Hey, oh, and Brooke. Awesome. Can you guys hear me? Savannah and Brooke?
Yeah.
Savannah, happy Wednesday. How are you?
Happy Wednesday.
You doing okay? Brooke, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good to hear. I'm gonna pull up your guys' Jamboard. Do you both have it open yet?
Yeah, I have eyes open.
Beautiful. Thanks, Savannah. You guys are number A. Okay, so Brooke, do me a favor. On the very front page, oh, Brooke, do you have it open yet? You do. On the very front
Yeah.
page, Brooke, I'm going to erase one of these lines. I want you to do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one's judging on handwriting because look, mine's funky on this Jamboard too. But do me a favor and write your name on the front page, would you?
Yeah.
You are awesome. Do that for me. And then, folks, let me just check out a couple of your works from before. Good. So I see on page 4. Let's see. I'm not sure if this was both of you or just one of you. Savannah, I'm presuming that these are your circles you made, or did Brooke do these on the Jamboard?
Yeah, those are mine. All the red are mine.
For sure. Brooke, if you could do me a favor, and I'm sorry to be so bossy, but if you could choose any color other than red, I would love it. So that way, I could just see both of you guys doing your work on here, okay?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. So Savannah, nice job on page 4. You moved it over 2 units to the right. Do you see what I mean when I'm saying like move it right or move it up or down? Any
Yeah.
or am I being too vague on that? It's okay if I am. I want you to tell me.
No, I think it's right.
I'm gonna zoom it in real quick here, and then I'll undo my changings. So I'm gonna zoom this guy in. Boom. When I say, and Brooke, if you don't mind, come over to page 4 when you're done with your name. When we're talking about moving it up or down, left or right, I'm basically saying, assuming we start right in the middle, like, and that's a terrible parabola I just drew, pretty funky, but it's meeting right here at the origin. So we're kind of tracking where is that little elbow spot, that vertex bending spot for the blue one. So for option 2, the one Savannah chose, this one moved 2 spaces to the right. And that's what so forgive me if it's confusing. That's what I mean when I'm saying, did it move up, move down, move left or right? We're looking at like where it should begin, right at the origin, to where it ended, where the blue line is.
Okay.
Okay. So you did great on this, Savannah. This one is going to be 2 units to the right because up here at the top, it's telling us f of x minus 2. It's in the parentheses. So we know from that it should be a left or right move, not up or down. And so we can disqualify the first option because that one moved up. Let's look at page 5. So Brooke and Savannah, looking at the on page 5, looking at the formula, like the writing at the very top. I'm making it bigger. There we go. The first sentence, it wasn't meant to confuse folks. That's just telling us which shape we're using. Suppose f of x is x to the third. So basically, they're all going to be that same cubic shape. And then the translation is f of x plus 1. So if if the plus one is in the parentheses, what do you guys think? Does that mean horizontal or does it mean vertical?
Horizontal.
Horizontal, Savannah. High five to you, dude. Good. And then Savannah or Brooke or both of you, if it's horizontal, do we do opposite of what it looks like or do it at face value? You can check on page 2 or page 3. I've got those rules in the yellow green boxes.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you ask the question again?
No, of course. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, since it's horizontal and the change is inside the parentheses, do we do it opposite or do we do it plus one?
You do opposite.
Good. Very good. It's always going to follow that same rule. So we do opposites when it's inside the parentheses. We do it at face value, guys, when it's outside the parentheses. So so Savannah, you chose the right one. This red one you circled is good. This one went to the left to -1. And you did that because it said plus one in the box, or sorry, in the parentheses. Now I did notice, I think when we get to the verticals, oh, good job, Savannah, good job. So for page 7, the rule was f of x and then -3 on the outside. And you did the graph that went down 3. It went down to -3, just like it looks like. So for verticals, it's outside the parentheses, and we do just how it looks. We do it at face value. All right, good job, Savannah. So Brooke, I would like to see you go through these pages too and do your best guess on each one of the graphs. You're basically picking which graph is showing you the correct translation.
Okay.
You don't have to do it all right this second, but I would like you to do it today, okay? It shouldn't take too long. It's like 12, it's less than 12 questions, it should be. Folks, when you get to page 9, 10, 11, and 12, we're just practicing drawing the translation. And it's okay if it's wobbly and it's not perfect. I don't expect anyone's to be. Mine certainly aren't perfect either. So let's see. Good job, Savannah. I'm checking a couple of yours. Good. Savannah, it looks like you're doing pretty good with this concept. How would you rate yourself? A thumbs up or thumbs sideways or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Awesome. Okay, great. It seems like you're doing very well. Brooke, I want you to give this a shot today. You don't have to do what Savannah did. I want you to do it on your own, and then we'll look at it again throughout the week, okay?
Okay.
Can I, are there any questions, guys, please, about this worksheet?
No, not from me.
Okay. All right, guys. It's almost 11:50. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close the rooms and have everyone come back to the main room. Brooke, do you have any questions on the worksheet? Do you know what to try doing on it today?
I think I'm good.
Are you sure? I'd love to
Yeah.
answer your questions. I'd love to do it with you, Brooke, if you have any questions. But you're feeling cool? Okay.
I think I'm good for now.
All right. Thank you, Brooke and Savannah. I'm going to close the rooms, guys. Just give it a second and come back to the main room with me. All right. Everyone's here almost. Savannah, Brooke, Levi, Victor, Anaya. Great. Now, guys, I'm sorry I still didn't get to everybody. This is a work in progress. So, Anaya and Victor, I apologize I did not get to your guys' groups. I do want to show you guys one last concept. And then, honestly, it's all good. Don't worry that we're taking extra days. Tomorrow, we're going to work with this a little more. So, I'm still waiting for one person to come back. But let's get started. So we're just going to add on the idea of the transformation. So far this week, we've only really gotten to the translations, which is those rules we've been using. Is it in the parentheses or out? And then we're sliding our picture, our graph, up, left, down, or right. So let's look at the idea of transformations now. Now, the good news is that transformations are going to follow the same patterns we've been using all week. So you're still asking yourself, is the change, is the rule in the parentheses or out? Is it, and then that's going to tell you if it's doing a vertical or a horizontal, and if it's opposite or face value. So let's check out the first one here for vertical transformations. Transforming means we're going to stretch it or shrink it, not necessarily move it left or right, up or down, but we're going to take the parent graph. Okay, I'm going to draw this guy in again. Parent graph. Remember, why is it the parent graph? Because it's going through 0, 0. And the equation for it is just plain old x squared. So there's that one. For vertical stretches and shrinks, we are multiplying to the outside of the f of x. So here's one example. I'm going to change my color to purple. Okay, so let's do an example of 3 times f of x. So just soak that in for a second. 3 is being multiplied to the outside. I'm going to write that down. Outside of the parentheses, right? Outside of the whole f of x. When we do this, we're taking the original parent graph in red, and we're basically multiplying 3 to all of those heights. So all of the y values. So what's going to happen is it gets skinnier, and we're kind of stretching it up by a factor of 3. So if our baseline, our starting is red, the parent graph, then multiplying 3 to it is going to take each spot. Like, for example, this spot right here on the red one, it's 3 times higher. And maybe my graph is a little off, but right above it, it's 3 times higher than it was before. If we made tables for this, which maybe we can look at one tomorrow, a table for the original, the red, and then if we were to try to do 3 of f of x, well, the formula for that would be on the left, 3f of x. Well, that's just multiplying 3 to the original function. So 3 times x squared. So it's basically the same table as red, except everything's 3 times bigger than originally. This is a stretch. If we want to do a vertical shrink or like a condensing, like the Star Wars example, so we're smashing it down vertically like a sandwich, then we're going to see a number multiplied to the outside, but it's some number, a fraction between 0 and 1. So for example, I'm going to do 1/2 times f of x. So notice that this one is still on the outside of f of x, still outside. 1/2 is multiplied to the outside. The net, and I should have changed my color. I'm going to change the color to green really quick to show a picture of this. So we're smashing this thing vertically. So imagine starting from red again, but you smashed it in like a sandwich. So it turns into a kind of a nicer bowl shape like this. Everything is half as high as it was before. Half as tall as it was before. So in the green one, this is 1/2 f of x. The red is just plain old f of x. And the purple I did first, that one is 3 times f of x. Let me label that on the picture. So our takeaway is that a vertical stretch or shrink is on the outside of the f of x. Just like with our translations, vertical's on the outside. If we multiply by a number like 3, it's going to make it skinnier by a factor of 3. It's going to make it taller and skinnier by a factor of 3. If we multiply by a fraction like a half or a third or a fifth, it's going to make it wider looking like our green one. Okay. And I know it's almost time to go. I'm just going to put this in so you can start thinking about it today. And we'll look at more of these and do some examples tomorrow. So let's look at the horizontal stretch and shrink next. Right here. Horizontal. So you know that means left and right. So imagine we start with our parent graph again, the same parent graph we've been using. I'm going to use the x squared again. So here's our parent graph, kind of in the middle, neutral. Now, instead of doing a vertical smashing, we're doing a horizontal. So to stretch this thing, imagine taking the red graph and we're pulling it left and pulling it right, outwards. So it's going to get like wider, right? Kind of just like how this green one looks wider than the red one. So the rule for it, though, we know that horizontal rules are in the parentheses. So it's going to be inside with the x. We're multiplying a number to the x. What's the other thing about inside parentheses, guys? It's always the opposite of what it looks like. So instead of multiplying a big number like 3 or 5 or 10 to do a horizontal stretch, we're multiplying the reciprocal. So small numbers like fractions like a half and a third and a fifth, these stretch horizontally. So let's put that one in. So it's going to pull it out horizontally, more bowl-shaped than before. F of 1/2 x. Remember, rules inside the parentheses are horizontal and we do the opposite. So it's not opposite sign for these multiplying. It's reciprocal, flipping it. So this is actually pulling it out by a factor of 2. It's the flipped version of that fraction. Oops, here we go. And last one to see for today is, I'm going to change my color to green again. So what if we multiplied an actual like whole number inside the parentheses? Like let's do 5. So remember, opposites for inside. So we're multiplying. It's going to be a horizontal stretch or shrink. Because it's a bigger number, we're actually shrinking it. So this is going to be like the Star Wars example, smashing in from both sides like this, getting closer and closer. So this one is going to get skinnier. This is a shrink horizontally or condensing horizontally. So here's our green one. It's getting skinnier, smashing inwards because it's opposites for horizontal. So this one, I'm going to label it on the picture f of 5x. Vertical translations and transformations are easier. They're more straightforward. We do them how they look. Horizontals are the ones that are always inside the parentheses, and they're trickier because we do opposite of what it looks like. So just like the translation, if the change, the numbers is happening in the parentheses, I want you to always think it's horizontal. Inside the parentheses, horizontal. And then we have to tack on to that, it's opposite of what it looks like. So for the transformations, by like making the shape actually change now, by stretching or shrinking it, we're multiplying numbers instead of adding or subtracting, which is what we've been doing the last couple of days, was always adding or subtracting a number. Homework for today is not going to be the mastery test. I think we'll assign that tomorrow after we get a little more practice. Homework for today is going to simply be to finish, put your final touches on your Jamboard. Now you've got 2 people assigned to a Jamboard, but there's space there for everyone to answer, on your own. So some of you might be done at this point, who I checked in with. Some of you may still have some final touches to go through. But this is your assignment so far this week, right? Is to do that Jamboard. Tomorrow, we're going to try the mastery test where they're going to have us do all of the stuff together. Stretching and shrinking, horizontally and vertically, and translating it horizontally and vertically. So that's it for today. I've got you guys down who are here, so you're all free to go. Homework is to finish your Jamboards. Double check them. Make sure you're happy with it. Bye, Savannah. You take care. Bye to all of you. Have a terrific Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, Josiah.
Bye, Levi. Good work today, dude. Bye, Victor.
Josiah,
Victor, yes.
can I speak with you something?
Yes, please do, sir.
Okay, I have a question. Do you have a cell phone number or something? Because I think Filmon wants to contact you about school.
Yeah.
You want-
I don't know the number. It's out of my desk.